Hi, Dr. Urban here. I'm giving some videos to my peeps about my history rather than keeping a diary or writing down stories. And this has to do with how I got into arthroscopy. The year is roughly around 1978, and I'm in the orthopedic program as a teacher to young residents in orthopedics in the Army. And monthly, there would come out the Journal of Bone and Joint Surgery would come out with their kind of the official orthopedic manual for the country or the world. Well, really the country. There was a British journal, and we would read it, would everyone, because we needed to keep up. So we needed to read it, and there may be something breaking, and the real reason was the residents like to do upsmanship. Did you read about so and so, and what do you think about it? And if you didn't have any opinion or a critical response, you could look kind of duh. So anyway, I read the journal, came in, and my boss, Dr. Colonel Vishik, um, was in a good mood, so I followed him into his office, and I said, "Did you happened to read the article by Jack Houston?" Jack Houston's the father, probably the father of, ran the Houston Clinic where all the professional athletes with sports injuries went. Father of sports medicine, in my opinion, and at that time and continuing till his retirement, a great contributor to orthopedics. But he said in his article, arthroscopy, I knew just, it was kind of like a word. Arthroscopy is a flash in the pan, and it's not going to go anywhere. Don't waste your time with it. That's the father of sports medicine speaking. So I said to my boss, and I said, "What do you think of Houston's article?" He says, "Oh, I kind of glanced at it. What do you think?" I said, "Well, he's absolutely wrong. This is going to be huge. It's going to be big. We need to be teaching our residents tomorrow about this. Get the stuff as soon as possible. What does it take? I don't know." So he called the commander of the hospital. I mean, this all happens in about 5 minutes. He called the commander of the hospital. That commander asked me to come down. I knew the commander. He was a former commander of mine in Berlin, and we were nearly friends. And he got along very well with Elaine, especially. So they were two people that respected each other completely. And actually, anyway, that's digressing here. So he calls me, asks me, I tell him the story, and he says, "Well, what does it take to get set up?" And I said, "It takes about $22,000. The arthroscope, I think, was 13, and you had some instruments and some this and that and that's that. You know, the instruments are $500 a piece or something like that." Anyway, I said I could probably cobble together and drop the price a couple grand. He calls in one of his guys out the front desk, and he says, "Can you find 22 grand for Colonel Urban?" Guy said yes, and he says, "Well, he told me give him a list of what you need, and he'll get it for you." Well, he did. Well, this is all kind of like something happened in less than 24 hours, but you got to be ready. An opportunity, I believe that there's well springs, energy headed your way. I believe they're kind of like spiritual, where a blessing sent your way, and you have to be ready for them. And anyway, what I didn't know is General Cass's son, Kevin, I knew, was trying to get in the Air Force Academy, and there was a chance he wouldn't pass the physical because he had fallen over a bike landing on his knee, and he had a knee that was catching, and he couldn't perform very well. And so General Cass, unbeknownst to me, wanted the arthroscopy, I guess. I'm not sure he would know too much about it, but anyway, so after we were done, General Cass said, "My son's going to be one of your patients." Okay, so, well, he was my third patient, and what he had was a little flap dropping down from his kneecap on the surface, and I snipped that off, and it was like a home run. He did go to the Air Force Academy. That's the good story, and the good story continues. It wasn't a few months later, but Dr. Houston came out with that he was starting to train residents arthroscopy, and it was a big deal. So I believe I was born to do arthroscopy, and that what came to me was knowledge, energy, and that's my story. I'll have more stories on arthroscopy. That's all for now.